Hey guys, this is Chad Rabin again here. I'm on my interview series, and I'm excited about this interview because this one's close to home. This is Jeff Mark. Jeff, say hello to the group here. Hopefully, we're gonna learn.
Guys.
Yeah, we're gonna learn a little bit about what Landhuis is all about and more about Jeff specifically. But before we get into that, I always like to just kind of talk to what our relationship is. And Jeff was kind enough to kind of believe in me, sit down, and through that, we've been able to establish a relationship. I now serve as a broker within the Landhuis organization, thanks to Jeff. And also, they have been kind enough to offer up a commercial development portfolio that I currently serve as the listing agent on. So we have a great relationship, and I'm thankful that you are spending the time to visit with me a little bit today. So let's just kind of get into it, Jeff, if you don't mind. Can you tell us a little bit about Landhuis and what specifically you guys
no problem.
do?
We have one owner and one principal. He's been in real estate for 35, 40 years. We own land, assets, and other assets for every facet of real estate. So we own over 1 million square feet of commercial. We own, every zoned designation of real estate as well, from industrial to commercial to residential to just ag land that we'll zone at some point for whatever the primary or best use might be. And so we have assets internationally, but generally speaking, what I focus on is our operations, and so that's what I do. I run our operations here in Colorado. And so what that really entails is the residential side. We manage our buildings and our storage units and things like that we own. But primarily our main focus is buying land, entitling the land, developing it, and then selling it to builders. And so primarily a residential operation. However, we do own, as I mentioned, other assets, and so that's where, of course, you came in to give us hopefully a leg up in some of the stuff that we do but don't necessarily focus on all the time, which is, for example, the commercial uses that we own up and down the Front Range of Colorado.
Okay. Yeah, so now Landhuis is headquartered in Colorado Springs, correct?
That's accurate, yeah. We do also have a major operation in Tulsa. That's where we own the majority of our fully built Class A, B, and C office buildings.
Huh. Yeah. So a pretty large organization in general, but like you said, the core business here in Colorado is primarily focused on the residential development and kind of taking raw land and move it into finished lots, correct?
Yeah, and so again, that's our primary focus. We bought thousands of acres and probably 10,000 plus future lots in the downturn. So from 2008, when I started with the company, through about 2012, and even since 2012, we've continued to buy different properties, but we've been more particular and more picky in what we've purchased over the last, call it 2 to 3 years. And of course, up here in northern Colorado with the water issues, meaning the raw water dedications as a developer that you have to otherwise dedicate to the water districts, it's become more and more challenging. So over the last 3-4 years, really since 2013, we're clipping off about 1,000 lots in development every year. We continue to ramp that up, and we'll continue to mimic that process and that type of absorption as far as lot development is concerned. We did about 1,000 again last year, and we have about 1,000 in construction today. And as I get through political process, we'll start everything that we have, literally, as we get through political process.
Yeah, so pretty broad perspective there with your development piece, but obviously you know exactly kind of what your niche is, where you want to be, and how to kind of maneuver through that. So I've learned a lot from you, so I'm hopeful today we can visit a little bit more about that. So can you speak to your specific role within Landhuis?
Yeah, well, I'm the president of the company, and I generally just run our operations here in Colorado. And so that, once again, it entails overseeing all of our property management. I buy all of our land. I negotiate our land contracts. I do our due diligence when we're purchasing property. I then take the property down. We purchase it, whether it be cash or through a 1031. We do a lot of 1031 exchanges. And then from there, I move as fast as I can to then entitle the property, gain a plat or plats on those particular pieces, and then we move right into development, assuming that the market is there, which it is today. And aside from that, we deal with a lot of different other stuff. So I run and manage, in large part, a lot of our metropolitan districts, a quasi-judicial entity that it's formed via Title 32 here in Colorado, and it's a financing mechanism for developers. So myself and a gentleman named Alan in our office, we kind of manage and run our metropolitan districts. And so generally speaking, we have metro districts on almost every one of our properties.
Yeah. And that's kind of a new thing for me since I've relocated here into Colorado, but an interesting process. Tell me, how many total employees work with Landhuis?
We're a pretty small and efficient company for doing 9-figure business every year here in Colorado. It's our owner, myself, and then we have 2 financial folks in our office, and then an executive assistant who does really a lot of our property management. I mean, that is our team.
Yeah.
So as far as the nuts and bolts of what we do out in the field and bringing things from A to B, meaning purchase of property all the way through final development, that's just kind of what I focus on. And of course, there's people that in large part help with that, whether they be planners or engineers or otherwise.
And those are typically contracted, right?
Yeah, I bid out that process, but we have guys that we've done a lot of business with, and so as a result, we just kind of have our go-to guys. And so whether you're on the engineering planning side or in the construction world, we kind of, if you're in the circle, then it's pretty tough to get kicked out. And so once you're in the circle, you've got the best opportunity to win that business every time that we go to bid on a particular job.
Yeah, well, and that's good to hear, because you got to perform though at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that gives us a good idea of kind of the size and scope and how you guys are structured. Can you talk to maybe some specific communities that you're working on today in Colorado, maybe even in northern Colorado?
Yeah, so generally we span from Colorado Springs all the way north to Fort Collins, and I'll not discuss Colorado Springs. We have about equivalent amount of business in the Springs as we do up here in northern Colorado, but I'll focus on northern Colorado. We kind of skip over Denver, and we start in the Frederick area. So I'll kind of go south to north, but we have a project in Frederick, we have one in Firestone, we have a project in Meade, we have stuff in Longmont, Berthoud, and then we kind of jump all the way north to we've done a bunch of stuff in Loveland, but we're out of those subdivisions. And then we have stuff in Windsor, Timnath, Fort Collins, and I might be missing one or two in between that span, but generally, again, it goes from Frederick all the way north to Fort Collins.
Yeah, so really the whole I-25 corridor is covered.
East and west of the highway. Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, quite a presence here in Colorado. So, well, I guess what we can maybe talk to now is I wanted to meet with you out here in Timnath. Can you speak to kind of the location we're at right now? Maybe once we introduce it, we can get out, and then maybe you can talk to some of the actual activity that's going on currently.
Sure. We're sitting on our 450-acre property. It starts really, the southwesterly corner is at Harmony Road and County Road 13, otherwise known as County Line Road. It's the subdivider between Timnath to the west and Windsor to the east, and so we're actually annexed into Windsor, and we've got all of our master approvals done as far as zoning and that type of thing, and our master plan. And we bought this property around 4 years ago, so it took a few years to filter through a bunch of process and some issues. We had a 1 mile off-site sewer line that we had to install. Then that sewer line ran all the way to our south boundary where we have a lift station. So that type of thing took a little while to vet out, in addition to the normal entitlement process. And so we started on our northwesterly quarter section, and some of that was based upon utilities, but nonetheless, we came out of the chute with 420 lots. And basically late last year we got paved on 295 lots, and then the balance just got paved for the most part here in the last couple weeks. So we're pretty excited about that. Every single lot is either closed or under contract, ready to close. Basically when we perform on getting the rest of the subdivision finished, meaning dry utilities at this point.
So, and the name of this is The Ridge.
The Ridge at Harmony Road, and it's been a great subdivision for us, and we'll continue to do so. It's kind of a mini master plan. We will have 2 other quarter sections that we'll develop here in the next couple of years. We are actually entitling another 250 plus lots on our southwest quarter section, and we'll bring those lots online immediately, right when we get through the political process.
Okay, so total phases to build out this entire master plan is?
We'll really probably do 3, maybe 4 phases. And I say that's primarily just the residential single family side. We also we'll have a minimum of 10 acres of commercial at the frontage off of Harmony Road, and we've also designated 15 acres there that abuts the commercial, and we may do more than that for some multifamily, whether that be townhouses or higher density apartments. We're not sure today. We would trend towards hoping that that'll be an apartment site, and that 15 acres would net about 240 apartments. And so we're actively looking for buyers and users to purchase that 15 acres.
Okay. Yeah, and as I mentioned at the beginning, Jeff has been kind enough to allow me to do some of the marketing on the commercial piece. So we've definitely been aggressive of trying to find what that might look like as well to help complement this master plan. So why don't we do this, Jeff, if you don't mind? We can get out, and maybe you could just speak to kind of where we're at and the phasing and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Do that? There we go. Maybe we could find some high ground here and talk to it, because they got a lot of activity going on.
Sure. So once again, looking behind us here is the northwest quarter section that we've developed here in the last, call it 8 months or thereabouts. And so that's the first 295 lots right behind me, fully paved. All the dry utilities are done. Permits have been released. Our builders started in the last, call it 30 days. And the amount of demand that this project has really taken on is the builders they've started on over probably 40 to 50 homes up here. Probably tough to see behind me, but there's just a ton of activity from the vertical construction side. So we're excited about that. We have 5 different builders, most of which have closed today. Some will close here in the next 30 to 45 days. And those builders include St. Aubin Homes, Richmond Homes, Bridgewater Homes, Richfield Homes, and Aspen View Homes. So all the builders have closed with the exception of both Aspen View and Richfield. And the reasoning behind that is that Aspen View just went under contract for their 92 lots, and then the lots that Richfield is under contract for are back over here to the east. And we just got those paved here in the last week, and we'll of course be working on dry utilities, and once those are done, that'll trigger their closing. So everybody's pretty excited to get moving out here. And then, so that's what we have going behind us out here down to the south.
Turn around, maybe.
To the south, that's Harmony Road behind us. We've got certain intersection improvements going right now. That's just part of our normal traffic impact. So those will get done here in the next, 30 to 45 days. And that's the quarter section that we're entitling today. And we will be developing immediately once we get through process with Town of Windsor. And so that particular piece will net about 250 to 300 lots just for single family. And again, we'll have 15 acres of multifamily. We already have, I think, 5 acres of commercial platted on that. And in addition, we'll have a oil and gas pad site, and that's about 10 acres as well. So we hope that Anadarko will be drilling on that in short order and hitting their mineral interest up here to the north, and that will benefit our metro district as far as the mill levy and taxes that they pay to us based on the AV. When that all comes through, if and when they do drill some hopeful horizontal wells, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. Yeah. So maybe I could just do a little span here, show everyone where we're at, and just kind of some of the stuff you've done. Let's just turn around here real quick. Well, good. Yeah, I think that pretty well covers off what I wanted to try to achieve. I guess one of the things I like to do is there a way that, some of the viewers, if they have an interest in wanting to get involved with either this particular project or if they have some future opportunities they'd like to engage Landhuis with, who and how do they reach out to you guys?
Yeah, sure. They can just reach me at 719-635-3200, and we'd be more than happy to talk to anybody about any of our assets, whether they're in Colorado Springs or all the way north to Fort Collins, and what we have coming up. And generally speaking, today we're sold out of all the lots that we were or are under development on. However, we've got a bunch of stuff upcoming that we're working on and we're pretty excited about, and so we don't have any shortage of things to do or to develop here in the near future. But I really believe that we're not really too concerned about selling out of those. So it's kind of a first come first serve. If you're one of our current builders, we give our current builders kind of a first stake or first look at our next subdivision, since they're the guys that are actually cash flowing lots for us.
Yeah, understood. So yeah, well, I think that covers off what we wanted to achieve today. So thank you again, Jeff, for taking some time to meet with me. I know you're really busy running up and down I-25 here, so thanks for your time today, and stay in touch with us, guys. Thanks.
All right, you're welcome.